Hey, Brian here, quantlabsnet.com. It takes a while for everybody to pile in here. Anyways, just wanted to go over an important topic that I think is important. I'm such a philosopher here. Anyways, so the topic for today or tonight is today, wherever you are, is about interviewing. The next way to do interviews, specifically around quant, career-based, if it's coding, if it's researching, if it's whatever. I think the level of interviewing is going to get more challenging, and what's going to happen is, there's a lot of third-party services out there that help you, quote unquote, help you get through interviews and tips and coding questions and the like. I do think that they are, thank you for the like. So I do think that those days are coming to an end because what's been happening for the last, couple of years really, is with AI that's come in, a lot of interviewers are have been lazy. For instance, they'll bring in junior people to do interviews of tech, deep tech stuff. And essentially, the problem is that there's a lot of cheaters out there on these interviews, specifically if it's done online via Zoom or something, and they can cheat via, ChatGPT on this side, pulling up whatever question is, and then doing a ChatGPT or an AI query and getting an answer. And obviously that's not going to last too long when you get into the actual job because the expectation is quite high. So what's happening now, if you were on last week's webinar, I decided to extend that way to engage with a coding project, specifically around a quant project for quant trading. You can just go down to the link below and see that little product. So this is just another way to use this out of the gate once you get it. So what you can do with it, you can use VS Code with Kilo AI extension and plug in whatever model you want, free or not, and then start querying all of the things you want to know about projects, just general questions about quant trading. You can get very specific on companies. You can get very specific on actual positions you're applying for, and a combination of that. So that's all done virtually for nothing. Depending upon the model you use, in my case, I use Quen Coder Next. You're only paying 1 penny per query. That's how cheap it is. And it's going to get cheaper as time passes on. And the thing is with it, it's going to get better, more sophisticated. So this can be used by both a HR team or an actual person trying to practice their quant. Now, I put out a long form video on this, my last two, one yesterday and one earlier today as a summary. You can go through that, but I'd watch the half-hour one to show you how to engage with it. And it will actually give you code, and you can ask it to give you specific strategies or code around that, and basically play a role with it as if you are in a trading desk environment where you have a trading opportunity, and you can ask all kinds of questions regarding quant, finance, system design, and the like. This is important because this is what a lot of firms will start doing and may already start doing it because the competition is very fierce. So if you're applying for quant jobs, the thing is that it's going to be really specific now. It's not going to be just 100% coding. In fact, I'd say it'd be not very much in coding, and this can be done in any language, C++, Python, no problem. And then you can query things. But when you start to see the role playing, I'd say 75% of it is related around quant trading. Like, what happens if this happens in this strategy? What happens if this trading result happens with this strategy? What do I do? What should you do? How do you interact with it? Quant-based and what? I could go on about it, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's very involved. So the only way to really see it is by watching that long-form video for half an hour. So that's going to be very obviously impactful, and that's going to test not just your general knowledge of programming, but your general knowledge of trading, quant-related finance, and the whole everything in between. And it's kind of challenging, pretty daunting. But remember that these firms will only pick the best of the best, and I would consider it just to see how far off you are in terms of doing this if you want to still pursue it. And then use the AI with this methodology to improve yourself. But it's not going to be all static based anymore. It's all dynamic. So you could have an HR person or a coder have a situation on a trading event in the day, develop some kind of mock strategy and ask questions about it. And if you don't know a lot of the technical, specifically on news events, they're going to test you to see how motivated you are in the trading field, because that's going to be the number one thing they're going to look at to see your motivation. And then they're going to start asking questions about a proposed strategy and the like. So that's probably going to be the future. I also think that the other thing that will matter is with basically you are in competition with people. You're going to be in competition with people from top schools with PhDs. You're going to be in competition with people that have been laid off from firms with maybe 10, 15 years of experience. So it's very cutthroat. And I've got a whole thing on it as well as my Substack as well. Just look for QuantLabs Net at Substack on something like Google. It's the latest post I put. It's a half-hour video by AI. It pretends to be a radio podcast show. It goes over a lot more different kind of concepts than what I posted as well. It's pretty fascinating. Anyways, so I blabbed enough about that. Whoever's left, let me know. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I'm going to give you some updates on what's been happening. A lot of people have been asking me where I'm at with live trading. All last week I don't know if you see my workflow, but I have now the ability to generate PDFs, very deep level, up to 80 pages of strategies in detail for the futures and options. I'm able to generate a JavaScript front end with all the strategies and all the things that drive it, trigger points, the rules, all that fun stuff. So I'm able to do that, and then I'm able to, with what I showed yesterday, be able to do the similar thing and develop what I call client trading Python bots. And it works very quickly. I did 5 today in less than an hour, okay? And they all run. Now, the challenge for all last week when it came to live trading was no orders get taken. There's no orders that are triggered. It's kind of frustrating because the strategies are so involved. Where am I missing out on the opportunity because I'm too slow to respond to generate the, call it bot. I don't know there. And at the beginning, I started building out, as you know, complicated strategies with options and a combination of short and long combos with options. So what I did was I stripped all that away and just focused on short-term view of the market and with futures only. So I'm trying to increase my chances of getting more orders triggered. So that's been the struggle. So as I said, I've developed 5 more. I've got 200 tests with Bitcoin. I'm seeing orders get through. So that I know the infrastructure works. It's just finding actual orders that if they will trigger or not. So as I said, if you guys got questions, let me know. I did verify before I started the stream that the chat should be on, so you should be able to ask questions if somebody wants to test it, just to let me know you're out there. Because I'm just sitting here now waiting for your questions and queries and stuff. So that's been the big challenge lately, is trying to get strategies that will trigger live orders. And I'm trying to make them as simple as possible, but they ain't taken. So I do know that there's a higher opportunity in triggering crypto orders. Easter egg hunt. No, sorry. So let me just see here. I'm just good. So basically, it's triggering orders is the challenge for live orders. So I've been doing this for the last 8 days now, or 6 trading days. But as I said, the Bitcoin Ethereum have a higher probability of triggering orders. But the problem there is that it's always a short. There are some classic arbitrage strategies where it will do strategies with CME combined with Binance as well. So I could do that, but I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of lazy there because I don't know. I'm just trying to keep it all in the futures market. But I could do it via Kraken and Python because there's no restrictions because I'm using Python for this. So I could do that, but as I said, I don't know. I could also combine it with crypto on other exchanges. As I've said last week, Interactive Brokers from here in Canada, I only have access to the Paxos. Another option I could do it is using Coinbase. Coinbase, I can't remember what it's called. There's a separate Coinbase exchange available for futures. It's not Prime, but it's available through my broker EdgeClear, so I could try that as well to do some arbitrage as well between Ethereum and Bitcoin on CME and CME on Coinbase as well. So if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I don't see any commenting here. Let me hear what we got. Yeah, no, I do have my chat on. So if somebody could just give me a blurb here and let me know if the chat works. Yeah, so that's one option I have to do arbitrage strategies with Bitcoin or Ethereum, is to do it between the CME and, in this case, Coinbase as well as an arbitrage. So there's that. There's lots of opportunity there because what happens is a lot of the mean reverting Bitcoin strategies in Ethereum are just simple arbitrage. Doesn't matter if it goes up or down, long, short, doesn't matter. So there's always one of the top strategies is that with an arbitrage. So I'm going to look into that, see how it works through the Coinbase API if these kind of strategies keep popping up. Yeah, so anyways, so blabbing away here. If anybody can let me know about the commenting capabilities, because I did verify it should work. Anyways, so that's what's been going on lately. Gold still leads the way. Oil, maybe. I think oil will spike if, as I said, that attack on Iran happens. Oil will definitely spike, maybe for the short term. But you can write. I have some strategies I've seen ready to go for if there is an attack on the good old Iran and all that. So let me know if you guys got questions or comments. This is unusual. Anyways, okay. So what else can I tell you? I just had a thought here. So gold is still number one. Ethereum has some long opportunities, just depends on the day. I do think the workflow I'm using seems to work okay. And as I said, I can develop trading client bots very quickly now and get them implemented. The quality, I remember what I was going to say now. The quality, the quality of code's pretty good. It just depends upon the model you use. So if you were to follow that product that got listed below, as I said, with the AI extension, you're able to basically use any major model. And as I said, it can be done through OpenRouter, which is one of the more popular ones. You're able to then quickly come up with a strategy or feed copy of a strategy. I did that twice from a website specific for Bitcoin futures. I also have shown you can do it with conversion of code from TradingView, MetaTrader, pretty well any platform, and it translates it pretty good. So what really determines high quality code on the client side is you got to use Claude 4.5, 4.6. Oh, we got a question here. Let me just finish up before I'll answer your question, Legal Force. Glad to see you here. Okay, so what I was saying about the quality of code depends on the model. I've showcased a lot of the free stuff like the Minimax and Quen. If you're just doing it for playing around and the interview stuff is good enough for that, but if you want really good production level, deep level bots with really detailed strategies, the only one to go with is Claude 4.6 Opus, because you get the best strategy code quality, and that matters because you get more data in the code and more rules. So depending upon what you want to go with, Codex is pretty good if you're looking for a balance. Gemini, I'm now having problems with Gemini 3.1. I don't know why. All right, so let's get to the first question here from Legal Force. I appreciate you joining here. How do you auto or correct for overfitting in a strategy? As I said, everything I'm doing is 100% AI. So as part of the question, you can put in a prompt, upload the code, or however you submit the code. And then at the same time, you would want to submit a real data file, depending upon your time frame and instrument. And what you tell the AI, and as I said, if you really want the best analysis so far right now, I think Claude will do it quite well. I can't really say any of the other ones. The other ones will be better, but to overfit it, what you do is submit in the prompt your data file, your CSV data file, your source code, and what will happen is just ask it if it's overfitted based upon the strategy, and it'll say yes or no. And then if that's not enough, ask for certain metrics to say, how do I know it's overfitting, right? And the one phrase you could always use is portfolio metrics, and just straight up ask if it's overfitted or not. And you can also do the same thing with back testing as well. You can also, when it generates a strategy, you can also ask the AI a coding breakdown in detail. And as I said, the better quality of output you want, the better your model should be. As I said, Opus 4.6 right now be your number one to use that with. So you should be willing to pay for that kind of quality output. Minimax is pretty good. I just tested that again today. It's pretty good with a 3.5. That's very cheap. But in terms of quality of code, yeah, you got to use a more advanced, higher, a more expensive model for a better answer. So Kartik, Nading Pali, sorry if I got your name wrong. No problem if you're new. Thank you for joining. I would love to know more. Where do you deploy your quant strategies? Okay, as I said, a lot of people have asked me about how to begin in algo trading. That's why I built the course that I've got, or not a course, but just a set of files, programming files. It's 100% AI generated, works with interactive brokers, and where you get started, just go to the bottom and start that link. That's what I'm going to tell people now, because that is very cheap. And once you get working with that, you can start to use AI just to add prompts, and it will change the code for you if you use the recommended VS Code extension like Kilo Code. It's really highly rated now compared to Rue and what's the other one? Windsurf with VS Code. There's a lot of disadvantages with if you use, let's say, the Claude directly within the Claude extension within VS Code. You're going to pay a lot more than you need to. So that's something I would recommend to go with that little product, and then just query and prompt away to what you want to do, and it will change and add new trading bots to it. You can do a lot with it. So that's what I'm recommending. And to get an example of that, you can either watch the most recent set of videos I put out on the long form, specifically one I put out yesterday. That would be a good example of, just as an example, how to create new strategies, how to test the quality of a strategy, how to foolproof it, how to blah, blah, blah. Because I've worked now over a year with AI, and I will tell you, this is the easiest way to do it. And I purposely built it where it's using Python, and you don't have to be very strong in Python. You just got to know how to prompt properly. But if you use certain models, they're more than intelligent enough to know exactly what you want. And one thing I have noticed with Google, the latest versions, the Deep Research and the Gemini 3.1 Pro, it's not very intelligent to know what you're looking for. And I can definitely tell you that the Codex doesn't have the intelligence either. Some of the Chinese ones are pretty good. The one with Minimax and Quant are okay. They're very low cost, and I'm all for that. But what I will say that there's a lot of problems with these lower cheap AI. It generates flaws, generates errors when you ask it to do things. So I've just been working on this now for a couple of weeks. If you don't want to have errors, you got to stick with maybe like Gemini 3.0 or Codex 5.2. But specifically, if you want 100% flawless code on the first go around, you've got to use Claude, because Claude's, I don't know how what they do, but all their code is flawless. So there's that. So I hope that answers your question, Kartik. So if you guys got any further questions on this stuff, let me know. But if you're beginning, that's probably what I'm going to recommend, because I purposely built that product for people and with cost in mind. And the only thing you'll end up really paying is the commission fees if you choose to go with interactive brokers. And that's the lowest you can get from a retail perspective. So that is what I'd recommend. You guys got any other questions or comments? Let me know. Don't want this to be the shortest stream that I've done since December. Most of them have been at least hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even 3. Thank you, Kartik. You got some more questions. That's great. Thank you. Do you save everything you do like in financial institution with auditing and everything? I'm not sure if I get that question. Do I save everything that I like in financial institution? Okay. I'm not here to pitch stuff here for you, but I just put up my latest code for strategies in my Quant Elite membership. So I'm going to start being able to do that. The problem is it connects into an assumed server for Algorithmic, okay? But you can easily convert it over for interactive brokers, okay? So I'm now going to try to be doing that, and I just posted 5 today. So yeah, and to answer your question, I do record it, and I've got a couple of hundred of various level, more than that, probably 350 coding projects in this membership. It's not cheap though. So I do store everything. But the way I'm designing it now, because the futures strategies I'm developing are very short term, because they're event driven, and those events can be, I don't know, like an anticipated fall in S&P 500. So there's a whole strategy built around that. So that opportunity could come and go within 2-3 days, and it will never come again. And then you'd be throwing that strategy out. But that's how I've designed everything. Same thing with any of the crypto or forex and the like. So even though you do use one of the older strategies, it might not be worthwhile because it's not timed properly, right? Especially as I predicted that the volatility get pretty crazy, and it has been crazy. So today's strategy might not work tomorrow or 3-4 days later. So just it's disposable code basically. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, Kartik, but let me know. If not, just type it in another way I can get it so I know exactly what you're wanting or needing. So yeah, so like I said, a lot of the code, no problem, Kartik. Like I said, the coding is event driven, very sensitive on whatever news. Part of the challenge I'm seeing with it, because the volatility is so volatile, as I said at the start, I'm a great philosopher here. Yeah, so you have to be able to code it up ASAP, and you most likely won't have room to test it. Because if you're trying to set up a strategy or a bot based upon a predicted news event, you want to have that strategy or bot ready to go ASAP. That opportunity of prediction may come in a day, may come in a couple hours, in a week, may never come. So who knows? But it's important to know. I have tried strategies, just standard strategies, generic strategies that would be for long-term strategies, and now these type of strategies don't work because of extreme volatility in the markets. Like trend following doesn't work anymore because of all of the declines in the markets across different asset classes. If you're willing to short, you can do that, obviously, so that would work, but I'm not a shorting guy. Shorting is high risk unless you're an expert at it. So there's that. There are other strategies I'm seeing that are spread based, like I talked about earlier with Bitcoin or Ethereum. But you don't want to get caught up in an illiquid instrument because, like a altcoin, you will probably lose money quickly. So it has to be a highly liquid instrument to take full advantage of it. If you guys got any questions, let me know. Be glad to answer. But right now, because of volatility, there's 3 ways to trade now. The different types of strategies. You can use our classic arbitrage, which will work in pretty well any market. Mean reversion, that is. You can do what they call income generating. So that really involves you writing options. And again, you got to be pretty advanced to do that, to really know the prediction on the contract you're writing for. If you get it wrong, you're going to lose a lot of money, because if somebody takes you up and buys one of your options that you write, they can have unlimited profit, and you're on the hook for paying that out. So it's very, very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're good, you can do very well with it. So those are the sort of strategies that you can use. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. So some of the other types of strategies I'm seeing are spread, which is arbitrage across different exchanges, as I said, for Bitcoin. And income right now is the more predictable, unless you like shorting. Have you thought about other programming languages for better scale? Kartik, to be truthful, I have looked at C++ ultra low latency. Unless you have a large account of 500,000 at least, doing the high speed like HFT level stuff is a waste of time. You'll pay out more no matter if you're profiting or not. You'll pay a lot of money in commissions. So I don't see the point of that. If you're starting like a $5,000-$10,000 account, or even under 100,000 for sure, there's no point to it. You're going to get killed on commissions, and the only way it works is if you're willing to put out literally thousands of trades a day or even a week, because you'll get lower commissions via your CME or whatever futures broker you go with. So that's what matters. So unless you're using programming languages for quote unquote faster, I'm thinking HFT level, it won't matter. You're going to be stuck on medium frequency like a retail trader. It's just the type of strategy that matters. So the best language setup that I'm using is Python. It's fine. Execution matters as well. If you're worried about that, you don't use a broker like Interactive Brokers because it's slow. They aggregate all your trades. So you could put out trades and they'll sit there for a second or two, or maybe even 5 seconds. Now, if you're with Rhythmic's quite good because it's pushed through quite quickly. And that's a real futures broker account. So there's no latency there. So that's one thing you can do. So there's that. I don't know if you got any other questions, don't be shy. The other thing that you can consider is when I started doing this interview stuff, question-wise, and some of the examples that were given through AI, is you can figure out ways to know if you have a false positive on your trade or not. And that's where a lot of the high-frequency trading shops will get you thrown off on your trading. So there are ways through trading strategies to circumvent that. It's just pure math. You're just looking at data. Let me put it this way. I have to correct myself what I just said. If you are really worried about data, like bid-ask stuff, which I think comes back to the same thing as I said with high frequency trading, high speed trading, I think it's overkill. I have all my bots. I have a heartbeat checking every 5 seconds, so it's able to keep up. It does check on the price, so it's kind of like a bid and ask, but it still can use open, high, low, close. But that's just good enough to work with. I think there's a lot of misconception out there with the order book where you develop strategies built around order book analysis, and you think that the order book will say that the price will go up. You have to realize, as I said, with real high frequency trading shops and the like of the large brokers that sell order flow back to these high frequency trading shops. So if you are on one of those brokers, you're already lost because they're selling your order flow and what you're watching back to an HFT shop, and they want you to lose money. So no matter what you do, you're going to lose money, and they don't really want you to know that. That's why I'm not mentioning brokers here, because they're big, they're name brand. The only one that doesn't do it is Interactive Brokers. Now, that's a nice thing about futures, is because it's heavily regulated. So the chance of being manipulated like that is lower. And the thing is, when it comes to data, as I said, you can circumvent this front running or jump in front of the queue with the data, and even with bid and ask data, but that might be overkill. So there's nuances to this, but it's difficult to answer about high frequency trading. Like if it's trading, then as I said earlier, the 100,000, 200,000 won't matter. But if you're watching the data, that on a high frequency level, it can help for sure. As I said, if it's bid and ask, but you can still, the HFT shops can still spoof the market, or I should say spoof your broker. Because if you're on a broker that is reselling your order flow that you're watching, you will lose money, a high probability. The one thing that the AI is telling me is there's trailing stops, stop losses, and it also depends upon what type of order you're putting out. So if you're putting out a market order, chances are that you just now signal back to the HFT shop that you're going to lose money with a market order. Now, from what I understand, with an limit order, you minimize your chances of being losing out. So you have to kind of know the specific question you want to know or want to ask for me to answer it better. But that's the long dance around that. I wish I could give you a better answer there. Welcome 918 Slavlov. When Quad built all the code for your strategy and you back tested on TradingView, what is the next step getting your broker to execute the code? Thanks. Not sure where you got the TradingView thing. As I said before, if you're really worried about backtesting, what you can do is you can feed in real market data as part of your bot creation, or develop a front end and have it use all the trading rules and trading logic within your call it bot. Python's very good with that. Use a web front end like I would use is what's it called? I can't remember the name. Sorry. But what you do is you allow that front end to upload your data, your CSV data, and then as part of the prompting, you prompt Streamlit's the web front. I'm thinking, no, it's Streamlit. And then what you do is you upload your CSV, and then it will analyze using your trading rules, and it will assess your backtest, and you can just ask for, as part of the prompting, popular metrics for portfolio. So you would get things like Sortino, you would get win ratio, profit factors, so on and so forth. And you can use that as part of the trading rule and be able to assess if the strategy is worthwhile. Because typically, if you feed it, 3 years of data, you'll see the time when it was useful for that strategy or bot. And then you let it another year pass, and that strategy is worthless because it's not trading. It's not going to trade anything. So you can do that, but most professionals say backtesting is kind of I hate to say, a waste of time. When you use Claude, what I'm finding Claude is the code is quite good, the quality of it. If you're really worried about the strategy, if it will work or not, chances are, with the way I do it, you don't have to really worry about that, because as I said, it's all news driven. I've got lots of examples available on my blog, at quantlabsnet.com, where you can see some of these examples I speak of, and it will tell you, it gives you a set of targets for exits and entries. So if the data on the time period you're following hits those targets, you will have your entry and your exit. And because it's event driven, a lot of these targets are going to be hard coded, and they're going to be developed for today's pricing. So as I said earlier, that strategy will be useful for a couple of days. So usually based around that, that's going to be a production ready strategy based on news, based on the detail of the strategy logic that you provided, and then get something like Claude Code to generate it. And then as part of the analysis, you're going to get your hard coded targets. That's what matters. So if you're trying to make it all generic, fine. But in today's volatile market, these kind of generic style strategies are not going to be as useful as the ones that are news driven, because they're going to be following up on a trend that will last for a couple of hours or a couple of days, and that's it. And that strategy is as good as for that time period. That's what I'm seeing. I've been doing this for the last 3 months, and that's how I originally thought strategies could be developed, but I'm not finding that, because the market regime changes so fast. I mean, look at Bitcoin, right? So it also depends upon your type of strategy as well. That's why I was saying the ones that seem to work are your spread slash arbitrage, or if you're writing options, works for income, or what was the other one? There's a third one. Yeah, kind of like a mean reverting, but trend following is not working right now on the long side unless you're trading gold or silver. Even silver's hard, but if you're trying to just trend follow on a long, only gold is predictable right now. We don't know if the market indices are going to be tradable over the long run with the same trend. I don't think they are, because look at the volatility of that. So the only forward momentum-based strategies that work are for gold. Everything else is, if you want to do shorting, you can do momentum based on the shorting side, that's for sure. But that's kind of high risk, because that's been lately what the momentum's been, and Bitcoin's a great example of that. I hope that answers your question, 918 Slavlov. But that's a good question, because I'm not using TradingView. The only thing I mentioned on TradingView or MetaTrader was converting strategy code using AI into my environment with that product I mentioned at the bottom. There's got to be a way to translate, because I'm sure there's a lot of people with English being a second language. So if there's a way that people know of, that I could have the stream translate on the fly, that would help. Thanks for the likes, everybody, as well. As I said, if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. So let me just mention this, going back to, as I wait for a new comment or question. As I said earlier with the job interviews, I do think the probability is going to be very hard. It's going to be kind of, as I said, like winning a lottery, which means you have a low probability unless you're a PhD and you're like a brainiac at all this stuff. But for normal people that have a love for this, you could still do it. And I've done a poll where about close to 70% of everybody that was part of that said that they want to learn to do independent quant trading. So if you know Ernie Chan, back in '08, that's where I learned that from, was from his book, to trade your own money and make money consistently and build a business from it. So that's what you can do with quant trading or any kind of trading operation. And do it for yourself. If you're really good, obviously you can do that for friends and family. If it's on Interactive Brokers, they allow 4 people. If you're really wanting to, Kartik, what I meant was not React, it was Streamlit, Python Streamlit web app. If you really want to get into this from a family office point of view as an independent, you can. A good option is to start up a family office. There was an article I read that family offices are going to be big in Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong's coming back for mainland China if you're, let's say, Chinese. Also, Dubai's growing massively. London's still big for family offices. So that's always an option. I think you do still have to get regulated. So that's always an option there as a family office, and just running your own strategies. Have somebody, or now an AI, that can go through an application process and incorporate capital into your family fund or family office fund. So that's another option. I wouldn't do these sort of things because of the regulatory and the financial risk that comes with it. I'm really not interested. I'm only interested in trading my own money. So there's that. And that one of the reasons why I do this sort of stream and stuff is to help people understand algo trading and build out really cool strategies. If you watch my latest long form videos, you can now just prompt your strategy. It's that good, especially if you use a Claude. And then, like I said, I built 5 strategies from news-driven events from a trading action plan that the AI builds for me, and I choose out of 20, sometimes it's 30 strategies a day. And I can generate those strategies very, very, very quickly using Python, because Python's great for rapid application development. So You could do the same thing with C++, but as I said, I think that's kind of overkill. If you do everything in Python, you're fine. It's a simple language. Well, I shouldn't say simple, but it's simple to learn, and you can do pretty well anything you want with it. I don't know if you guys know about as I said, if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I just blab away until I see a comment or question. I don't know if you guys seen the new Microsoft just released on GitHub a library called QLib. It's a quantitative library built in Python, totally open source from Microsoft. So with what I do, you can incorporate that. You can incorporate all the popular frameworks in Python with this setup. You can build out things like LangChain, whatever you want, all the AI agent stuff with what I've got. So you can easily plug it in because it's all in Python. Everything's coming out as Python. And the thing is, when you're stuck in MetaTrader, TradingView, whatever trading platform you have, you can't do that. It's always a challenge because you're going to be pigeonholed by the SDK of the trading platform. So with AI now, I do think this methodology is the start of the concept that trading platforms are kind of going to die, because with AI, you can prompt it to do whatever you want it to do. So that's the advantage of it. And now it's getting much easier, much easier. You guys got any other questions or comments? Let me know. Right now, just so people know, as I don't want to say I'm testing it, but I'm just trying to get these strategies to trigger orders. Okay, I've been doing this for the last week. It's very difficult to trigger orders. My frequencies, heartbeat, checking everything every 5 seconds. So I've got 5 in the can right now that I'm testing. One's a gold, one's copper, and these are all long strategies. The other one, I believe, is classic shorting the Japanese yen because it's so predictable. So I have those strategies developed. I'm testing them to see if they can work, because, as I said, because of those trends. But I'm also got 2 other very simple future classic strategies, kind of like built around average true range. They're triggering orders, a lot of orders. So if I know I can trigger those orders through, in my case, Rhythmic with the strategies that actually trigger orders, and that's kind of difficult with these strategies. These strategies are not. These are the easier ones, I'll say, versus options. But they're difficult to get to trigger orders. That's the big challenge I'm finding. And as I said earlier, I've stripped it all down to just focus on futures and very short-term, news-driven, news event strategies. So there's that. So if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I've talked a lot about where we are with interviews. If you guys got questions on that, let me know. If you want a starting point, just whatever your level is, even beginner with little programming knowledge, just check out the Link product. It's like $30 US. And it's really cheap. The AI said it's worth $200, but it's $30. Anyways, you can do a lot with that thing, for sure. So if you guys got further questions, let me know. The reason I mentioned that thing is because you can use that as a way to quickly get a working set of bots running with interactive brokers in the trader workstation. And then you can role play all the different strategies that come with it. And at the same time, you can ask it anything you want. And you can do it pretty well for free with Minimax. And ask whatever interviews you want. You can just say, here's the strategy, code it up, please. Okay, great. Tell me the typical questions that'll come out of that. And that's the powerful thing about this development. And I would not be surprised firms will start, either have done it, will do it, because if you are relying on counseling from career people that have been in the field, it's not enough. They're just giving you very high level stuff. But if you really want to be motivated and ace these interviews, the tech interviews, with the quant trading included, you just gotta go crazy with the AI, with this type of setup that I've got, and it'll work right out of the gate. Once you get it, it's ready to go, and you could just ask away. Like I said, I've got different videos on it, long form videos, my last two as well, because that's what's been working. And just watch the latest long form video, half an hour, and this is the start of it. Because of the AI and what you can do with it, you don't really need third party services to test your interviewing. You don't need people, counselors and that. They're just going to give you very high level. They're only, as the AI said, they're only going to show you how you look on camera, and they're also going to show you what to say and what not to say in general questions. Other than that, they're not really giving you any specifics on coding or quantitative techniques, or better yet, math. You have to know the stuff. And as I said, you also can't cheat your way through this. Even if you did, you got to still perform on your job, and you wouldn't last very long. A lot of people get chewed up pretty quickly in these environments, and these are pressure cooker environments, so you got to be top notch. And the best way to learn is through AI, as I've shown in the in my prior videos. So if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I'm here to help. Whatever you got, don't be shy. Not sure who else is out there, but I thought this would be a pretty engaging topic. But as I said, you don't need to go through third-party websites for career, specifically in quant or coding, and you definitely don't need to hire these quant guys at all. Consultants, or what they call themselves. Just rely on the AI. And as I said, there's this thing ready to go to help you. You guys got questions or comments, let me know. Because if not, I'll just gladly end the stream. I keep saying I can show my screen and show more formal stuff on these type of streams, so I might do that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But people seem to like the in-face, which is me and with me just talking. And if you guys questions, more direct, I guess. I'm happy to help. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. Because right now, I'd like to check out these 5 bots that I'm trying out. See how they're doing. But I need to figure out better strategies to get more orders with profit. The last, as I said, 8 days or 6 days worth of trading days, these strategies are very difficult to get orders executed. So I'm not sure how I can do that. And this is kind of low frequency as well, because it's stream data that checks every 5 seconds for the price. So I don't know how much lower frequency I can go without it going high. That's the nice thing about Rhythmic as well. With Rhythmic data, there's no limit. I mean, I'm seeing on these WhatsApp groups, people are spending way more money on data bento. It's so expensive, and that's just data that's historical. That's all you get. I'm not sure if they allow stream data, so all my data is streamed, and in the API with Rhythmic, I can easily grab 5 years worth of data, just put out a call out, and it'll create a CSV for me. So there's that. And the pricing is very cheap. You just got to open up a futures account, sign up to Rhythmic, and you pay $140 with everything. API, the API gives you access to pretty well all the major markets in the world, like interactive brokers. But the thing here is it's just better market data. It's not drip like interactive brokers, and it's faster order execution as well, for sure. Oh, 918 Slavov, what is the setup you recommend for getting the code to execute your trades through your broker? As I said, I've got that product that you can see in the link. That's what I recommend. I've designed it that way. Nothing else, because it's ready to go out of the box. If I recommend anything else, people won't do it. So I just don't bother telling them what to do. If you're so worried about it, sign up with TradingView. But you're not going to get the Python, as I said, with the lack of limitations and stuff. So you definitely want to look at that product that I've got linked in the stream for interactive brokers. You could just, if you don't have the ability to trade with interactive brokers, you just set it up with the Trader Workstation, and that should be enough just to practice with. Hello, 918 said hi. Hi, how are you? Thank you for your questions. So you guys got any other questions at all? So the other thing is, obviously, sign up to my website if you want. Beyond that, I can't really do anything more. Everything's up to you. I'm here to help, but I can't make YouTube have me reach thousands of people. These type of topics are very niche. Unless I run around naked or something, or start screaming my head off and putting people down because YouTube likes negative, controversial stuff, which I kind of used to do, but I'm kind of tired of it. So I'm kind of too old for that. So as I said, if you guys got comments or questions, let me know. I'll be gladly to help. I know the topic of the interviews is for tonight. If you got a question on that, let me know. Okie dokie, because I'm not, I'm here to hopefully be productive for you. So if there's a couple of people online and you're just watching and call it doom scrolling, I don't think I'll be able to help you out. On to your next shiny toy, as they say. Legal force, real live trading. What does that mean? As I said, with the product I got with the interactive brokers that's linked, you just flip a switch if you want to trade with interactive brokers. You start with the demo mode, paper trading mode, and then just flip a switch on TWS. You can live trade with the same environment. It's the easiest and quickest way. Now, I can't develop strategies for smaller brokers. I'm not going to do that. The only things I'm working with right now is interactive brokers and Rhythmic. And Rhythmic pretty well is on pretty well every major futures broker out there. Now, real live trading, I'm not sure what you mean by that legal force. This is for TradingView. If you want to get right away, TradingView is your best one. So there's that. I don't know the specifics on what you're asking for. Hopefully I answered your prior question. Legal force, can you show real live trading of your strategies on my channel? I kind of did that yesterday. I could do that. Like I said, there's no point in doing that because I'm not getting orders right now. I'm going to have to keep changing up my strategy development to get more orders. And I could probably do live trading sessions, but that would be behind a paywall for sure. I'm not going to let the world crowd trade. I might do small sampling of it. Where's the link you're talking about? I'm talking about prior videos on YouTube here on my channel, QuantLabs. If you want to see a style of how I can do it, you could look at my most recent long form video. I think you may have seen it. That's the closest, and a couple of other ones, but live trading. I could probably show something in my next video. Could probably do that. I think I've done that before. I mean, it's just a bunch of text going up and down. There's no user interface to it. It's just console apps. And as I said, I got a console app for my server, and then I have 5 separate console apps for the each trading bot. So there's nothing much to look at. I've actually put up some coding analysis on these 5 bots on my blog, my latest blog post. So you can find that on quantlabsnet.com. I keep everything very generic. And I could do this live, but I just don't see the point yet until most people won't care about it live unless it's profitable. Then they're going to ask how I do it, and well, check out my current price. It's enough to buy half a nice car. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. Yeah, so like I said, I am trying to get live trading working, but the orders is a pain. So I'm trying to come up with, like, the Bitcoin stuff kind of works, but I think I'll lose money with it because of the price of Bitcoin. I may look at arbitrage, quite possibly, with the Coinbase, as I said, through my futures trading account, because there's a very small number of future accounts, future brokers, I should say, that support this particular exchange that Coinbase has for the futures market, and that's I'm with EdgeClear, so that's definitely one of the bigger ones for this particular market from Coinbase, but I don't think it has a lot of volume personally. Where you want to be on a Coinbase exchange, you want to be with Prime, but good luck with that. You got to be a bank. So when you see BlackRock or Fidelity dumping all their trades in Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's most likely going to be on Coinbase Prime. But there's no retail on it. It's only institutional. And you have to have quite a bit of cash in your account to get access to it. And the other one they mentioned, which is also owned by Coinbase, is Deribit. And Binance is still pretty popular. That's what the AI is telling me. If you want these type of exchanges, Bybit, Binance, Deribit, that's all it mentions. It doesn't mention Kraken, nor does it mention Coinbase for some reason. But these are futures and option strategies I'm looking for. So the ones I've already given you are the ones that support perpetual Bitcoin and Ethereum contracts. So again, those are Deribit, Bybit, and Binance for perpetual. So those are hard to get onto. And I probably have to specifically ask for the perpetual on the Coinbase exchange. Sorry. Got you. First time 918 Slavov. First time seeing you. We'll check out the rest of your channel tomorrow. Thank you, sir. No problem, sire. Sir. Here to help. Yeah, if you want to know more, just sign up for my quantlabsnet.com website. That's where most of my stuff goes out via email that everybody uses. As I said, if you guys got further questions or comments, let me know. Thanks for the likes so far. I appreciate it. If you guys got any career-related questions, I don't know, because I don't talk about that a lot. I know it's popular among other channels and social media. But I have strong opinions on it. And I don't like people wasting their time or money specifically on this career stuff when you have high-quality AI. I'm still waiting for the DeepSeek 4 to come out, and I don't know what the delay is. I don't know. You definitely cannot trust what you read on RumorWise on this release, but it will be a big release. I know that my provider will give me immediate access to it, and that means I'll be able to start developing right away with the coding setup I have with AI to develop some Python-based bots. It's very easy to do. That's why I like it. That's why I kind of like keep mentioning it. But if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. Here to help. Legal Force, you got any other questions? I think 918 Slavov dropped off. I haven't seen a question come in from Kartik in a while. If anyone new wants to come in, don't be shy. We're talking about just general trading. Way I'm doing it right now, it's with Python bots, specifically futures and options. I am maybe going to start investigating this Coinbase stuff. And as I keep saying for people, altcoins are now on CME. You have Stellar, Chainlink, XRP, Solana, and there's another one, Cardano. So you have quite a few altcoins on the CME. The problem is volume. That's the thing. Without volume, you're kind of not trading. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I don't talk about this a lot, but I built out now. What I'm going to tell you is virtual trading. This is not real money. So I believe it was in 2020 when Bitcoin went from 16,000 to 80,000 in 4 months. I don't remember what year, 2020, let's say 2019. So I built out what I call a high speed, not high frequency trading. It technically could have been. And what happened was I built this thing in Python on Binance virtually. I started with one full Bitcoin. So it was 16,000. And when it went up, when that 3-4 months, it just spiked up to around 80,000 in 4 or 5 months. The total profit that this bot gave me was in December. I hope you're ready for this. Started at 16,000 in October, I believe. No, it started in November 2020. Then it went up to 1.1 million. I think 1.1 million in January. What it did was it used technical analysis, like rate of change was the big indicator I used. And it focused, and this is again on Binance, the early days of their futures market. So there was only Ethereum, Chainlink, Bitcoin, and XRP. So when it came to heavy volume, it mostly traded Bitcoin, then Ethereum, and then the occasional XRP. So I just focused on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So it made that 1.1 million in like 3-4 months. It was crazy. Total commission came out to about 350. But remember, Binance is the lowest commissions you'll ever pay out on in the crypto world. This is way before they started regulating and doing their KYC thing. So what happened was I took that. There was a big dip in Bitcoin, but then it came back, and then it went up to 2.1 million within a month, or around 2 million. Same logic, everything, and then it just collapsed. So my point here, analyzing it all, and I'm bringing up the volume thing, and I'm talking about altcoins. When you trade these type of levels in the world of crypto, the only ones that matter are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, but here's the key about the futures and options market. If you want to trade in those two instruments in crypto, compare the volumes on bar chart. The volumes are very low compared to all the other mainstream instruments on the CME through, if you watch it on bar chart. So there's a lot of volume there, and I'm hoping to start seeing some market indices strategies recommended, because I know there should be some orders I can get out of that. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is right now, to get live trading orders, you're going to only get them most likely through crypto. And most of those are going to be, as I said, arbitrage and spread trading with another exchange. So I'm not set up because I can't trade Binance where I'm at in Canada. And I don't think a lot of other exchanges have the kind of volume that it needs. Maybe Deribit, but again, I can't trade on Deribit. So my only option right now, if I'm going to do this arbitrage between the CME, is to be on this Coinbase exchange. But again, I don't think the volume's quite there for that. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised they'll start focusing on that for both Ethereum and Bitcoin to get some live trading orders. Because like I said, I really want to get those orders going live. And when I'm talking live, I'm not talking about trading anymore or testing. I want to do live trading orders. And as of tonight, in the last few hours, The ones where I'm seeing live trading orders is via Bitcoin and yeah, Bitcoin right now. Very simple strategies. They probably will lose money, but they're pumping out orders. So I know I could probably get orders through that. And because of that, it's probably what I'll end up focusing on unless the market indices come back in a big way where there's enough volume and enough orders that I can generate from some form of strategy. But I'll find them because I'll keep going until I get them. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. Sorry to blab. I'm just waiting for comments and questions to come through if you can. I don't know if anybody prior is asking questions. If you're new, be my guest, type away. We're up to 110. I can end this pretty fast. I'm not sure if I'm going to do these live streams twice a week. I think if I started burning out, if I did it every day, it'd be a lot. But twice a week is probably the most I can do. But right now, I do like doing these streams, that's for sure. The engagement's good. The questions are good. So, anybody got questions or comments? Let me know. No? Okay, should I start ending it? This will be our shortest stream for since December. That's okay by me. So if you got a question or a comment, just type something so I know you're doing it, because I know there's a delay between where I'm not synchronized with you, the viewer. So I'll have to delay this, but I'll do the usual going once, twice, 3 times, and if nobody's got anything to type up, I'll just call it a night locally, my time. So I'll do it going once, going twice, going 2.5 times. Okay, going 3 times. I guess we're done. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a good evening and a good day wherever you are. Bye-bye. See ya.